Hey y'all, and welcome to Watch Cheryl Scrap, the June session for 2021. I am going to scrap a watermelon photo, and I'll be using a kit, Elements and Papers by Gina Miller. So I've had one of those days today. I am just downloading this from the shop, but let me go here so I can show y'all. Okay.
The cute kit that it is.
Yes. So
It's always funny when Livy shows up because it's like, oh, we're scrapping you today.
yeah, Olivia's like, oh, great. Thank you. Dragging me into this. And then here's the papers. So cute.
Those are so cute. I love the watermelon, the almost watercolor feel to it.
Yeah, I love that effect. All right, so I am downloaded, so I gotta unzip.
Unzip,
Do y'all unzip like right away, or do you wait?
Oh, I unzip right away, and I do that because I've actually had it where I didn't unzip one right away and it somehow was corrupted.
Exactly.
So yeah, I am a unzip the second I get a chance, basically.
Yeah, to make sure everything's fine.
Yes, because I actually had to ask somebody if they could reset. I don't remember which store it was, but I had to ask if they could reset it. And I was just like, I am so embarrassed. I have to ask you to reset it because I'm the idiot who didn't unzip and make sure it works. And I'm sure that's not what they thought, but that's the way I felt.
Yeah, you were like, eh.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of silly. I should have done this right away. Hey, Jess. Livy does it immediately. Livy says those were the same pics she thought of when she saw that kit.
Yeah, I don't know. Should I scrap the pictures of Kendall, and I don't think Lauren was with us that day. It was Kendall and Regina, me and your dad. I was just going to do a one photo.
I'll do one photo and do the other one later.
Yeah, I'll see what happens here. This may be a quick layout.
That's okay.
That'll be good.
Renee says she's much better about unzipping these days too. She had a corrupted one. Now here's a different question for you. Same idea, but different question. Do you keep your zip files? Because I was surprised to learn people keep their zips.
I don't.
I don't, because they can get corrupted.
Yeah.
Renee does. Oh no, delete that. Livy, I'm with you. I don't, because I'm like, well, if they might corrupt, they're just taking up space.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this just to make sure.
That's true, Jess. She puts the files on Backblaze. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, I have them all there. I'm trying to get better at a 2-stage backup instead of just one and then sort of 2, which means I have about half my digi supply on a local backup, but not all of it.
Oh my gosh.
See, it's so cute. I'm pretty sure Gina saw that picture when she made that kit.
Right?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It's totally perfect.
It's just perfect. Okay.
Renee, don't you keep your cards too? Am I wrong about that? Do you buy new cards for your camera instead of writing over them? Or am I thinking of somebody else? She says she actually had to go find a kit in her zip files. It was a collab from Scrap Orchard that she only had parts of. Oh, well, that's good that you had it then.
Oh,
somebody was talking about that in the forum, that they just use that anytime they need a new kit card for their camera, they buy a new one.
I'm just
Yeah, so it's not
very
you. I
happy.
don't remember who that is. I just thought that was really surprising because I wouldn't have expected that. And I was like, well, I guess it kind of sort of makes sense. But the whole point of me is it's reusable. Jess says
Oh,
the files on her laptop are way too full right now. She needs to move them to the EHD. It is hard sometimes, but like that's one of my things. So there was that whole thing that Justine posted in the forum about what kind of a clutter bug you are, basically. And yeah, that's part of my thing is because I can control it 100%, my computer's like the most organized thing in my life because nobody else puts things on there because nobody else uses my computer. But the EHDs that other people have used are kind of messy and do have things in the wrong place and stuff. And I'm like, I need to go fix it.
you know, it used to be better. Olivia will jump in here now and tell about how it's not better.
It's okay though. I'm like,
Yeah.
we all have times when we're better and worse at things, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Well, after last year, I feel like I get a pass for
Yeah.
at least a year,
Oh
and
yeah. At least.
then I'll go, you know, I'll pull
She
it
says it
together.
is better now. You did a lot of organizing pre-NSD.
I did.
And like
Did
Jan says, you've had a tough year.
well, everybody's having tough times. That's what's
That's
so crazy about this whole business. I'm gonna get on my soapbox. Here I am, jumping up onto the soapbox. It's just been ridiculous the amount of people who have suffered and for a lot of different reasons. And I don't know if it's just we're all so attuned to everything happening, but it just seems like, it's a lot for a lot of the time. Um, yeah. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox now.
you're fine. I think it's true. And I think it is just a lot. And it's, depending on who we associate with, depends on what part of the story we hear at any given time.
Right. But like,
So,
I'm not even talking about pandemic. I'm just talking about crazy stuff because Olivia
right.
went and got her hair cut and she was talking about, it was a new stylist, so they were talking about different things and she was like, well, you know, last week um no, last year I lost my job. She got laid off. And the lady was like, oh yeah. And then she's like, and then my aunt got cancer and then my mom got cancer and then my aunt died. And she's like, it was just like one thing after another. And ugh, it's just hard
Yeah.
on, I mean, and there are so many people who have this similar, situations where they've had issues, a lot of different things happening. Oh my goodness. I love this whole thing. I'm so glad I picked this up. Thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome.
Oh, this is just fabulous. Yes.
Livy says she thinks she remembers scrapping this picture with a Faith Sisters kit eons ago.
Well, it's time for it to be re-scrapped if that's the we
If that's the bar.
yeah,
Well,
like
hello, this
okay.
was made for it. So yeah. Jan
Like
says yay for no masks. Jess has
oh
no
man,
organization in her life right now with no right arm.
poor Jess.
Yeah. And Renee says things are actually better for her right now because she can eat again. Most of the health
That
orders in
is
Ohio are done.
fabulous. I'm
She had
so
no
happy
mask in
for you.
Walmart. Me too.
Yeah, and like you have big smiles now, yes? So I know
She says, yep.
yeah, good. See,
Yeah.
there is, I mean, but so I'm talking about all the bad things, but there have been really good things that have happened as well.
Yeah.
Like our little puppers. She is so cute. I cannot even stand it. Today we were going down to my mother-in-law's. That's why I was a little late getting here because she was keeping my great niece and she couldn't get her Wi-Fi typed in right for my niece to use the Wi-Fi. So we went down there. But we stopped at Starbucks on the way, and so the little puppers got a puppuccino. And it's absolutely the most adorable thing. I don't know if they're backed up onto Google Photos yet because we've not been home for very long. But oh yes, here we go. She also went to the groomers. So she's got
I love the
she got
bow.
a butterfly bow, and her,
She's got a
excuse her
bow.
wet face, but she drank a lot of water when we got back home. She was so tired. Just terrible. And then this is her eating up the puppuccino. Yeah, not all of them have uploaded yet. So I have a few more.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Jess said she was going to mention your dog. That's your buddy.
yeah, she's so cute. Look at this one. You betrayed me today and made me go to that place. She's gone for a long time.
See, and I see her posing and going, look how adorable I look. Aren't I
Yeah.
beautiful?
And then earlier today we went to my mom's and we went around the garden a little bit. So these are some of her hydrangeas. Look at that color right there. It's just
That's pretty.
crazy.
I like that.
Yeah. So I cannot ever remember the names that she says, but they're different types of hydrangeas. So like that one, you can see it has like a weird petal around it. I don't know. It's really pretty. So she has a picket fence around her whole entire yard, but her garden is outside of that picket fence with a shorter picket fence around it. It's a lot of pickets.
I got that.
But,
I'm following.
yeah, but she painted this sign with, just kind of a impressionistic flowers. Blessings on the blossoms, blessings on the roots, blessings on the stems and leaves, and blessings on the fruit. And then she did that one too, that you see when you go into the little area. But she has squash. Look at it. It's just squash, zucchini. She's got cantaloupes, watermelon, tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes. Then she has some zinnias planted over there too. And
Aww.
squash. And then that's an old bed frame, bedstead, the headboard and footboard. And then they built the side rails, and that's where her tomatoes are planted. Isn't that the cutest thing? I mean, seriously. And that was a little snow pea, but that was our day today.
Aww. How
So,
fun.
all right. Refocus, Cheryl. Refocus. That is definitely summer vibes. Watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high.
I am ready.
Do you
So
do
I'm
you know that song?
adjusting still, by the way, to summer here and how weird
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, that it's not hot or
Yeah.
yeah. That you're not dying.
Well, okay. So I promised my son I would sleep out with him on the trampoline one of the nights this summer. Okay. So me being me goes, well, let me look and see when it's going to be nice and warm and not get too cold during the night. Right.
Right.
And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, well, wow, we don't really have a lot of weeks coming up that are going to be super hot. Like there's no 90 degrees on the schedule. And then I went, well, no, that's a good thing. There shouldn't be any 90 degrees. We actually do have theoretically a week that's 90 degrees in like August. Yeah, it's like the third week of August, Renee. There's no 90-degree weeks scheduled for my area at this point in July. And I was just like, oh, that's going to be weird. Like we're still walking around wearing sweatshirts
That is
and
weird.
hoodies. And it's like 70 degrees out, and I'll look outside and I'm like, people are walking by in their shorts and their tank tops, and I'm sitting here and going, Yeah, I
No.
got my sweatshirt and my hoodie on still.
Yeah. You're like, no.
Oh, I am in the crossroads of America, which means you cannot get a flight to any place you want to go direct.
Oh,
I'm in Indiana. It's just this funny little thing.
no direct.
Flyover state. Yeah, but they call it the crossroads of America, and I figured out it's because everything crosses over.
Everything.
Everything. No, I was looking for a direct flight to Utah to go back and visit family, and help my mother-in-law get ready to move. And I was like, there's no direct flights. I either have to go to Denver or Vegas or Los Angeles, which that's nice. You fly over Utah to fly back.
Right.
I'm like, or Atlanta. One of the flights offered me to go down to Atlanta. I'm like, that's the opposite direction, people.
You're like, that's not going to work.
I'm like, you want me to go down to the opposite corner to turn around and fly back over? James says they've been under heat alerts for the past couple days. It's been in the low 90s. She's like, we're 26 miles from Canada. It isn't supposed to be this hot.
Oh,
See,
it's hot
people
here.
say Canada's supposed to be cold, but you know what? I grew up there for quite a few years, and it's not all snow and ice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sucks.
I was sweating. I didn't like it because I had gotten ready and I looked very cute. My hair
Hmm.
done and it was all nice and straightened, and then not anymore because, I'm having my little hormonal issues, which is great. Lots of fun. And so I'm already hot. Just not
Hmm.
being out in the heat and then getting out in it was just like, I had like a sweat mustache and beard. My whole face was like, it was so gross. I was like, I came home and I was like, okay, all that's going in the washing machine. So,
So
and
the
it's just
biggest difference,
starting.
yeah, besides the heat, has been the humidity. I haven't
Yeah,
been in humidity for 4 years, Cheryl.
yeah,
I haven't
it's
had these little
bad
frizzies
here.
for 4 years,
Yeah,
but my
it was
skin has
bad.
never been happier than it is out here.
Right? I remember going to Las Vegas and Phoenix and being like, what is happening? I felt like I was
Hmm.
aging overnight.
Hmm.
And that's when I first learned about using coconut oil on your skin. And I was lathering it on. It didn't seem to make any difference.
Okay, Jess, I think I kind of want to go see this Fiona then. Fiona the hippo.
What?
So Jess says next year they're planning a trip to Ohio when they're all vaccinated. They want to meet Fiona the hippo. Apparently she's at the Cincinnati Zoo, which is not very far from here. So I'm like,
Hmm?
cool. But she was born premature and they filmed the whole journey and now she's big and happy. I'm like, oh, I want to go see a hippo, especially
Like,
one
let's
named
go
Fiona.
see her. Right?
It just sounds cute. I'm like, yeah, totally. Let's go see her.
Come on, Cheryl.
And she's in Cincinnati, so that's not too far. Elisa has passes. That's awesome. I did not know that. Um, you know what? I haven't looked at Chicago, Renee, because it's a longer drive for me. I have 3 other airports that are within an hour-ish, but I'm sure there's a direct flight from Chicago. I just then have to deal with Chicago.
Chicago.
No, my plan is to drive south and go visit Cheryl.
Yay!
So my poor son, can I say, like Jess mentioned, once all her kids are vaccinated, and I have to laugh because we went out shopping today too, and I was able to not wear a mask because I'm at that point. And my poor kid just kept putting his mask on everywhere we went because he's just not old enough.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. And he'd just be like, when is it time for me? I'm like, I'm so sorry.
yeah. We're waiting on Daniel. I'm trying to wait till school is out so that if he does have any symptoms, then
Hmm.
I'll be
Is he not out yet?
No, he won't be out till
Oh.
next week because they started so late here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were in the midst of a little outbreak, so they put it off. So that
Yeah.
means he has to go a little bit longer. But
So I was counting down the days till Matthew was out. Mostly because I just hate Carline and I was so done with Carline and I knew I would be done with it for 2 years once we
yeah,
got to that point, right?
right.
I forgot that getting to that point meant that Matthew is now home with me all day long.
You're like,
I'm like,
oh,
he's
yeah,
sweet and I love him and it's fine, but man, there's days when he's like, so what are we gonna do today? And I'm like, dude, it's the first week of summer and you're already asking, we're in trouble.
yeah. I would totally make a schedule and I'd be like, I'm not having this conversation with you every week. Be like, this is all we're going to do this week, and this is all we're going to do that week. And otherwise, you need to find something to do.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he's been really good at it so far. It's just still that whole point of him getting used to having the free time.
yeah.
And he's not used to the rain. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the weather. I should just say weather. Because he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the park every week, every day this week, and I'm gonna go do this and that and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but if it rains, you're not going. And he's like, whatever, because when we left Vegas, there hadn't been rain in over 6 months.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, we've had rain for the last day and a half. And he's like, so another indoor day?
Like, this isn't any fun, Mom.
Well, and it's weird because he's like, I'm not sure what to think of this. Like, I should enjoy this and stuff. And you're not making me go outside and play, but it's weird.
No,
Jess.
I never made my kids go out and play.
See, I didn't necessarily in Vegas. Like, I might make him go out first thing in the morning for a little bit, but most of the summer it was too dang hot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't send your kid out to play in 95, 100 degrees.
Right.
So, but here I'm like, it is nice weather. You have a backyard, you have a trampoline, you have a park literally across the street, you have a swing in our front yard. You can go out and play for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's hard because I don't want him to just sit on video games all the time. So
Well,
I end up
I
trying
mean,
to
my
find
mom
that line.
made me go out. It was, you go out. It's time. It's time for
Yeah.
you to go do something. But I think it all depends on where you live and
Yes.
the
Oh,
weather
absolutely.
and, like there's a business behind us and I don't trust them.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Like, okay, I am having like the weirdest thing getting used to this because in Vegas, I would watch him go across the street and my friends would then text me. Like the one friend I couldn't see him would text me to say, okay, he's here. And now I'm like, yeah, sure, go to the park for an hour, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, it is such a different weird world. And I'm still getting used to that small town.
Having that be a thing.
Yes. Have you ever been to whale watching, Jess? She's taking her boys whale watching and to Columbia, the gold rush town. I love whale watching. It's so fun. It's like one of my favorite activities to do.
Okay. I wanted to add a little more pink in there since some of these elements and stuff have the pink.
That's so cool. Whale watching is a common school field trip. Where's she's
Really?
at. That's cool. For Lisa too. Lisa, where are you? SoCal. Yeah. Huh. So apparently that's a common thing in SoCal. Man, our kids missed out, didn't they, Cheryl?
Yeah. I don't think Olivia or Daniel had any field trips like that.
No. Oh, my kid was so disappointed that all the field trips got canceled this year because that was like the one thing he was looking forward to with real school.
For that, he was like, yes, please. Yes, please.
You went to Tallahassee? Oh, Tallahassee. I read it before my brain worked there.
Who said that?
Your daughter. Jess says she
Hey.
was traumatized watching her 5th grade teacher puke her guts.
Oh God.
Yeah, I could
Terrible.
see that. So the first time I went was fine. The second time I went was fine. The third time I went, it was really, really rough water. And even
Right.
the guy said it's really rough water. And my poor husband and my poor son both just lost it. I was up towards the front of the boat, and all of a sudden I hear some guy back there just like totally barfed over the side. And I'm like, oh, that poor man. It turned out it was my husband. I was like, oh, whoops. Maybe I should go check it. But the thing is I was okay. And like the smell or the sound will make me do the same. So I try to avoid puke. And so I was like, he's like, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to walk away from you. And I'm like, yeah, you walk away from me. That's fine. But then I felt bad because, some poor guy back there.
You're like, oh no, that's him.
Yeah, Dramamine usually helps. And we actually had given it to my kid because he does get a little bit, occasionally, not all the time, but he sometimes gets car sick. But the problem was, so we thought about that. The problem was it was just the seas were so incredibly rough that there was just no recovering. Like the poor captain was apologizing and saying, if you're not feeling good, come over here.
Oh no.
But, it wasn't horrid. It just was, there was a lot of people who kept going to the inside to where it's the most stable. But we got to see a ton of whales, and they were like all around us and all up and underneath the boat and stuff, because guess what? Choppy weathers really brings them out.
Right.
That's funny. Some reviews on Groupon said they were grossed out from all the puking. Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay. Are you doing anything here?
He's thinking about it. It's like, maybe not. We'll see.
Okay.
That cluster's awesome. I agree, Jess. It looks fabulous. I'm not good with ribbon, and you just make it look so amazing.
Well, I just pulled it a little bit more than the shadow that, my custom shadows.
Mhm.
I just left them there, but then pulled it out a little bit further on the ends. And
No, I
then,
mean, I'm just not good at putting it on. I'd be like,
gotcha.
I would have hemmed and hawed over where it should go and what was it covering and how should I.
Yeah. This is fantastic, this kit. So
It
cute.
is.
And they
Yeah.
have like stuff in there for bubbles. They have different, uh, here, I'll show you, different fruits. So it's so cute. I mean, look at this paper.
Aww.
Isn't that pretty?
She twists ribbon. I have no talent for that.
Yeah. I love the ombre. But yeah, she has like little,
I know. I want to get it and use it for some bubble photos that I have.
yeah, so there's a bubble, and then a speech bubble. And then look at those, the little
Those are
brush,
awesome.
little
Cheryl and I
wand.
were saying we're so glad to have Gina back. Aw. Which Cheryl?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree 100%, and it doesn't matter which Cheryl. I was just curious which Cheryl, because there's so many now. This one. See, you say that, but Cheryl Mima is also in the chat, Jess. So.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Still not sure. Nope, don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going to do my journaling off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll just close it out a few minutes early tonight because I don't have another project scheduled. Sorry it was so off on the beginning of this, but hopefully I inspired you and maybe you'll dig out some watermelon photos. And I mean, this kit is just so pretty. I'm just,
It's beautiful.
And I don't know why I thought I needed anything else. Look at, I mean, there's lots of
No,
texture
it's
and
perfect.
dimension. So I'm glad I just decided to stick with just the papers and elements, and it just all goes together. But again, with our BYOC, it's so easy to mix and match. So, all right, well, I'm going to stop the recording here.